What's up, guys? This is Pardon Our Politics. I'm Anthony,
And I'm Brianna.
and today we're going to give our opinions on social issues.
Let's jump in. I personally would never end a life, no matter at what stage the development is, but the state has no right to ban abortion in the earlier stages. The thing about this argument is it's either all or nothing. You either side with the pro-life, which is from the moment of ejaculation that baby deserves full rights, or you side with the pro-choice, which is the baby doesn't have any rights until after it's born. Both of these are wrong. Fetus is a developing human. Therefore, the further along in development the baby is, the more rights it deserves. Okay.
Yeah, I totally agree. I just side a little differently. Obviously, I don't have that woman perspective, and not knowing exactly, also with the people labeling what is life, like you said, the moment of ejaculation and all that. People decide when life begins, and then you got that science aspect to it. You got the religion aspect to it, of course, which gets people thrown off. So, I mean, really where I fall in is, I kind of see both sides of the perspective, but I also, so for me, is really just like, I believe a woman at this point in time, until they, I guess, lawfully or scientifically describe exactly when a fetus is, or whether it's a heartbeat, moment of ejaculation, 2 months before, if there's a specific time period. So right now, I think just the way I stand on it is like a woman should be able to have that choice at that point, whether it's, it shouldn't be a state, it shouldn't be a federal. As of right now, it should be just what that woman wants and to do with that fetus and all that, even though it counteracts with that. But that's just my standpoint right now. I say no. Technically, with Planned Parenthood, it's a non-profit organization that provides a bunch of services for women to come in and do, abortions, STD testing, and all that. So there's all sorts of varied stuff on their services they provide, and you have to pay for, whether it's out of pocket, Medicare, and all that. And technically, the government's supposed to only cover the Medicare. I'm not quite sure if they if they go to how far, if they just cover the Medicare coverage, or if they, give any more assistance, whether it's tax credit and all that, which I don't believe they should. So I say no with any funding, unless it's just to cover the Medicare expense. How about you?
I don't believe the government should be funding any private organization, period.
Mm-hmm.
That's just no matter what. I don't think we should force a business to do something they don't want to do, whether that be bake a gay cake, host a Nazi event, cook with pork. But if it's simply purchasing an item, food, clothing, then store owner shouldn't refuse service. All money is green.
I agree with you as far as the first part. The business owner overall has the right to do it. Obviously you can't go in there and say, make me a cake that says this, whether it's beyond the religious belief or if it's just any service that they want to do. And so it's pretty much, yes, I believe they should do it throughout. I mean, it's their business, so if they don't want to serve you, that's their deal. It's the same thing with the customer. If the customer doesn't want to do, just because that person, you shouldn't want to do that. Why argue with the dude? Just move on to the next fucking cake store or wherever. Get your beef, go to whatever store you want to go to. So that's my stance on that. Yes, that's it. I don't think, if the woman agrees, I don't think, I'm not military, I don't know exactly, but from friends and family that go in there, I know once they go through boot camp and all that, they can, they choose a field. I don't think they're forced in that directly, but, sometimes they get a field, whether it's infantry, front lines, engineering, whatever it is. So if the woman wants to be on there, she's more than welcome, free to choose that act. So that's her choice, and that's what I believe in. What about you?
As long as she can pass the physical requirements that are currently standard, and we're not dumbing them down just because she's a woman, I'm fine with that. Yeah.
Yeah, not looking for the true bronze and all that.
Yeah.
Okay. Sweet.
No, it should just be like any other prescription. There's no real reasoning behind why they should.
I'm right on there. It's a healthcare provider. I mean, nothing is not governmentally funded. There's not, as far as I know, I don't think there's a health insurance that's owned by the government.
Not yet.
Not yet.
God help us.
Yeah, right. So, I mean, they're a business, whether it's nonprofit or not. So, and birth control is a product. They're selling it to you, whether it's covered by your insurance or not, where you pay out of pocket. So, and just basic economics, a business needs to make a profit, whether it's for profit or non-profit. So, I mean, obviously, if you're giving away free birth control, it's not helping them. But obviously, that's not the way the world works in the economy. So if they give away free birth control, the government's going to have to cover the cost with a subsidy or something, which is going to cost us money. So I say no on that. I have no comment on that. I don't know how to really answer that question.
I don't agree with discrimination laws to begin with. I mean, why force someone to do something that they don't want to do? Period. Yeah.
I agree.
Yes. As of right now, it's the only thing that costs the least amount of money. I mean, the only option is giving them free healthcare, food, housing, education for the rest of their lives. And, you know, someone commits a murder at 18, living till 80, that's all on the taxpayer's dollar.
I agree with you. I totally believe in the death penalty. I mean, it's not like someone that smokes pot and goes to jail gets the death penalty. No, it's most likely the highest offense. And I believe it takes way too long also. And if it was me personally that committed the murder and death penalty, I think they should bring back the shoot or the sniper in the head or something. Make it quick and...
The firing squad?
Yeah, firing squad. I mean, nothing like North Korea where the dude lines up an aircraft missile or machine gun and just goes off on the general or whatever. I mean, it's technically the most humane possible. I can't imagine staring at your life is basically hanging on the lines of this tube when it reaches your skin, and they go through multiple. It's different chemicals that go to your body. And basically, you go to sleep, which doesn't always happen. So I do believe in the death penalty, and it should be a lot more swifter. Oh man, I love this. I love hearing about it. I don't get kids these days, or they don't have to technically be kids, but that's technically what you see. I have no problem with this as long as it's university. I mean, universities already charge enough. They already make enough money. Why not create a little glass case where they can just scream or feel safe in? What about you?
No, I don't agree with this at all. College should be about preparing young adults to be productive members of society, not infantilizing them and sheltering them from, things they don't like, triggering. You're going to meet people that you disagree with in the real world. You're going to see things that make you feel uncomfortable. Get used to it.
Yeah. My favorite is the microaggressions.
Oh, God.
But anyways.
That is a different video.
Yeah, that's a different video, but yeah, that's our stance.
No, businesses should be able to choose the most qualified candidate for the position. Race, gender, religion shouldn't be a factor in that.
I totally agree. I don't think requires the correct word. I mean, most women I see nowadays are more than competent. It's just whether they are in that job and all that. Now, if they're still doing that whole 1950s gender role where they think the woman's inferior, that's totally wrong, and that's I would believe is unexcusable to a business. If you're a business, your goal is to make a profit once again, and if that woman gives you the lead to getting that, whether she's on your board or not, I think that's true. But required, no. I think they should. If I was terminally ill and I wanted to end my life a little bit swifter, why not? I mean, as long as you're in the sane of mind. Obviously, you had that one back in Florida way long time ago where the woman unfortunately became a vegetable and her husband decided to end her life for her without her say. I don't think that's wrong. Just because he said he looked her in the eyes and he could see the pain and all that. That's pushing. I think that's where it gets off boundaries. But I think if you get diagnosed with that, there should be paperwork and all that to help you with that. But I agree, you should be able to end your life if you choose. I don't like assisted suicide either. I think that's a bad word, but I know I don't like that word either. It just makes it sound wrong. It answers it for itself if you say assisted suicide. But what do you think, Bree?
I think if they are mentally sound, and have not been coerced in any way, the government has no right to force them to live.
Agree.
I have no problem taking references off of currency and not putting them on new buildings and new monuments, but to take them off already existing monuments, that's erasing history, and I don't agree with that.
I agree. I say no. A lot of these countries were founded on these principles, and that's what I love about it. I mean, I'm not religious whatsoever. At the forefront, I don't go to church every Sunday, and or whatever the deal is, but it's history. Mm-hmm. It's history. When you talk about the national monuments and money and all that stuff, there's a whole mix of culture on that too. Just because it says "In God We Trust," there's also the all-seeing eye and all that stuff too. So you have a full mix of stuff on any monument if you look at it. So that's my stance. I say no, and just keep it how it is. I love it. I love America. Mm-hmm. I mean, why not? The way I look at it, they lost, so if they want to show their losing flag, that's fine. It doesn't offend me whatsoever.
I honestly don't care. I'm from the South, but the Confederate flag has never meant anything to me, so I don't care. I don't think very many women want to wear the niqab or the face veil in the first place. But as long as they prove that they are not a security threat, I have no problem with someone wearing it.
I'm the same way. I'm not part of that religion, and I don't understand it fully. Like you said, I'm sure some women don't want to wear it, but maybe it's just part of their religion, so they do it. But it doesn't offend me. I think it's cool. It makes me want to go dress up as well.
Do you know what the niqab is?
But but like that, and of course you have like the Nike with their gear that they're getting into. It makes me want to go buy one too. But I have no problem with this. It doesn't offend me whatsoever. All right, guys. So that's it for these social issue questions. Go ahead and comment down below in the comment sections on any of them. If you have your own opinion and all that, we'd love to hear it. We'd like to debate in the comments. That's why we do this. Obviously, these are our opinions, so try not to get offended on it.
Oh, they're going to get offended.
Oh, I'm sure. But, I mean, this is what's great about this country. We're going to have our feelings. There's no hard feelings either way, but just be prepared for a very quick response and all that. So, let's wrap this up. All right.
See y'all next time. I love America.
America.